What's up, heathens? How ya doing? Today we're going to be going over Mr. Thrive and Survive again, and he's brought cartoons, guys!
For me to really show the scale here accurately, to show over 12,000 feet of bulge here, that would be blocking one signal from the other on something of this scale using 50-foot towers only this big. You can see the problem here. If this tower was to suddenly generate a signal, there's no way the receiving tower could ever get it.
So yes, we're going to be going over why this particular experiment doesn't actually disprove the curvature of the Earth. We'll also be talking about refraction, Snell's Law, as well as what Tropa Scatter is. So I hope that you will stay tuned for all this lovely knowledge we're going to get today.
And I'll play this. This is a microwave test that was done over...
Oh shit. This guy has cartoons, guys. I mean, holy fuck, cartoons.
146 miles. And they transmitted a line of sight microwave signal. That's what microwave signal is. It is line of sight. If the transmitter and the receiver are not in line of sight, and there's no refraction here because this is radio waves. There's no bending of light. This is radio waves, microwaves, directly transmitted from 50-foot towers on each side of each shore.
Okay, I just need to step in here real quick. Sorry, this is future GE from the intro. This particular test that they're running didn't actually take the actual elevation into account here. So, I mean, he's presenting a straw man of whatever test that they ran, because you have to take in the elevation plus the observer height or the height at wherever the fuck you're at. So he's not taking all of that into consideration when he's doing his calculations. So obviously they're going to be wrong.
And they did this at 146 miles and successfully transmitted and received the data at 146 miles.
Okay, I want to stop you right there, buddy, because there's a few things that you're leaving out here. And I have a few questions about this whole, test. And I'm not exactly sure if you've really done this test or the people that really did this test actually did it legitimately. But microwaves are indeed electromagnetic waves, just like light. They're just a different spectrum. So microwaves are indeed affected by refraction. That's why it can transmit over 10 miles away or multiples of 10 miles away. It can't go hundreds of miles or hundreds of kilometers, but there is a particular thing that allows for that. That's called Tropa scattering? Tropa scatter. Yes, so this is basically a technique where the microwaves actually bounce off of the troposphere and are reflected back down so that they can actually go over the curve of the Earth and be transmitted hundreds of miles away. Way more than the 146 miles. Now, under normal conditions, you would just want to do line of sight to communicate. You don't need to do the Tropa scatter. But considering his claim of being able to beam microwave information over 146 miles, the way to explain that would be the Tropa scattering effect of microwaves. This 146 miles ain't shit, okay? If you want to do something that's even better, try sending microwave signals from fucking, Japan all the fuck way over to goddamn England. In either direction. just do that one and maybe you'll have something, but I sincerely doubt that you will have any kind of transmission on that particular experiment. And you obviously didn't do any kind of research into why the microwaves might do this, because I gotta tell you right now, bro, I literally typed in the phrase microwave transmission over long distances. That's what I put in. Google even helped me out by putting in a little caption on there to the Wikipedia page, and in it has Tropa, a whole section on Tropa Scatter. So Tropa Scatter does actually explain why microwaves can be beamed across large distances, larger than they would normally be able to be transmitted over, but the higher elevation here, I think, is also a factor that you have to consider. These are two very reasonable alternative explanations to the Earth is flat, and that's why these two particular radio towers can communicate.
So there's there's things like that are being done more and more by many more people all around the Earth. And it's just blowing away anything that could be absolutely possible. Now, if you want to see how impossible this would be, let's go to our Earth curve calculator and see. Now, here we have a standard Earth curve calculator, and we put in an eye height of 50 feet, which was the height of each tower, and the target distance 146 miles. And what we end up is the distance to the horizon is only 8.6 miles. Remember, the 146 miles apart, the target and the sending signal tower. The target hidden height, so the tower over here should be hidden by 12,575 feet of...
Okay, and again, I'll say that it's because of Tropa Scatter that it can actually reach that far of a distance. Like, it doesn't matter how far it's hidden, it's hitting the troposphere in the atmosphere, and it's bouncing back down and hitting it. So, I mean, it can go for hundreds, it can go for way farther than 146 miles. 146 miles ain't shit to Tropa Scatter, okay? Tropa Scatter looks at that shit and is like, fuck that 146 mile shit.
Earth bulge. See, people don't, they want to call it the bulge. When you go to the other, which I call metacraft, which uses standard refraction, which is based on throwing of the dice, assumes a lot of things and does not even take into account science as far as Snell's Law.
He threw out Snell's Law here, and I just have to interject real quick because Snell's Law is what the refractive index is based on. I mean, it's part of what you would use to calculate how much refraction there would be over the curve of the Earth. Snell's Law describes the relationship between the angles of incidence and refraction. It's quite literally not a roll of the dice like he's saying here. It's a mathematical description of refraction. So there's no way that it couldn't take that into consideration when performing these calculations.
You'll see it actually labels this as bulge. So they don't want to call it a bulge of water that's here. It's just following the curvature of the Earth, Rich. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll cover that more in different videos. But again, 148 miles apart. They should not even see one another. Again, it's hidden by 12,575 feet in the middle. So if we go back to that other diagram, so there's no way for me to really show the scale here accurately to show over 12,000 feet of bulge here.
What the fuck is in the middle of his thing? He's like, there's no other way for me to show a bulge here. Okay, like you couldn't have done like a globe and then like shrunk down the fucking antennas to show like a legit kind of view of it, I guess. I mean, you literally, like you couldn't think of a better way. Oh, well, I need to put a bulge right here. What should I do? I don't know. Why don't you put just a big blue fucking oval there? That'll show them.
That would be blocking one signal from the other on something of this scale using 50-foot towers only this big. You can see the problem here. If this tower was to suddenly generate a signal, there's no way the receiving tower could ever get it.
That is not how the transmission would look at all. Mainly because there's not huge raindrops everywhere on the surface of the Earth. But I mean, he's still not considering the elevation of the towers. So, I mean, really you would have the transmission going out in straight lines on the side of whatever the fuck kind of bulge he has there. You need to show this on like an actual somewhat to scale model or some kind of scaled down model of the Earth, not your cartoonish version of reality.
So it's things like these, along with better equipment, we're going to end up with cameras that are going to be, I think, exponentially better than even the P1000 in the next 2 or 3 years.
I don't care how powerful Nikon makes their zoom. You literally cannot fucking see through the curve of the Earth. That'll never be a thing.
And again, as more and more people use infrared and this right here, the mathematics, which will prove out exactly what we should see hidden and what we should see not hidden at a distance based on real science, not phony, made up refractive indexes that are based on nothing.
So let me just put this into fucking perspective. You know how I like to do that, honey. I like to put this shit into perspective. This guy is using phony, made-up methods in order to prove that the Earth doesn't curve, and appealing to P900, which I think should be an official fallacy at this point. He's using made-up methods to prove his conclusion, and then he's calling the actual science that's based on actual measurements and actual methods the fake one. Like, this is a situation where I'm like, what fucking universe am I in? And am I in the same universe that I started out in? Because this seems all flippity-floppity.
This will wake so many people up.
No, it won't.
And again, when you can see many people, I've seen other line of sight using microwaves that have been even more than this 146 mile. I believe I saw one 154 that was done in South America, if I'm not making a mistake there. But
if he's talking about the Convex Earth documentary, that's actually very incorrect. The actual experiment that they were doing on that particular documentary didn't actually go that far, and was definitely not as far as they were telling us it was. It would really help their case if they didn't show like the laptop screen where it shows exactly how far the signal traveled.
these are things that more and more people are going to do, and it's waking everybody up. When you have no thing to go off of, like refraction and microwave radiation, as I've discussed in the Hurricane Florence proves flat Earth, that's also microwave line of sight radiation, which could not work from the distances that it does work because there would be curvature of the Earth in the way. So contrary to the claims that flat Earth is running out of steam and things like that, sorry, this is about to go mainstream.
This isn't about to go mainstream, though. Like, all of the information that you posted could be easily debunked by a fucking 7th grader with Google. Like, this is shit that you would learn in, like, 7th grade, general physics class or physical science class. Like, I just don't see this being the linchpin and making it, like, a mainstream thing. I get that you want it to be mainstream and you want more people to agree with you, but it's not going to happen because you're using made-up methods in order to push your agenda, being the flat Earth, and then you're criticizing the actual science as being made up, while you yourself are using made-up shit. What I would suggest to this guy and any flat earther that may be watching, what I need you to do is simply go learn about the shit that you're actually talking about, learn about the refraction indexes, learn about all of that shit, and then do your little tests if you can do them, and don't just rely on, I just know that the Earth is flat. Don't just say, I know it is, without actually knowing. You're just baselessly asserting that it is. It's ridiculous the shit that flat earthers actually claim to know. It's so fucking frustrating. Anyways, that's it for this guy's video. If you want to watch the entire thing, it is linked in the description. I highly suggest you watching it. Leave your comment if you want. Don't watch it. That's fine too. Thank you, heathens, for making it to the end. Would you leave your comment down below with what you thought about Mr. Thrive and Survive's bullshit evidence here? I would love to hear what you think. While you're down there, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of dumbass content. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice, and I will see you heathens later.